As far back as Viking times, Scandinavians relied on sheepskins to survive freezing Nordic winters. Over time, women began to beautify the furry blankets with symbols that conveyed personal and family history. Today, a few textile artists are bringing back the ancient Scandinavian art, known as skinfell.
We have had as many as 100 sheep. I raise sheep. I've raised them for 35 years. I've milked sheep, made sheep cheese. I've been a spinner for 35 years. And then somebody said, you know, Karen, you have to explore something called skinfell, because you have to know what you can do with those sheepskins and make them into sheep blankets. And the story started. I did about 2.5 years of research before I went to Norway to learn to make them. So skinfeller is actually a sheep blanket. There's only 8 breeds. They're very fussy about this, what they use, because of the type of skin. You use Pelsau, you use Gotland, you use Icelandic sheep. An older sheep will have a tougher hide. It's very nice to get a younger sheep, about 1 year old, and yet sometimes you can get a larger hide if you get an older sheep. The hard part is when you start squaring up the hides and sewing them together. Every seam is sewn 3 times. They say if you stick your finger and bleed on the hide, you bless the hide. My hides have been so blessed. I had to put red in the design because it had blood marks. To do the biggest one out there, I went through 25 needles. Everything they made in their art was functional and survival. In the homes in Norway, they had no heat. They needed a warm skin next to their body, and sometimes the whole family would crawl into one bed. They raised sheep because with the sheep you could get the meat, the milk, the fleece for knitting, and the hides. Kind of a story quilt. You see the sheep. This is one block, this is one block, this is one block, and then the edging is a block about this long, and then you kind of line it up. And this was my first. And if you pour back the one edge, you'll find 5 generations of my family history. And this is what they would do. They would have all the family history and give it to the woman, and then she would pass it on to her daughter. But what's interesting, when the settlers came to America, came to the Red River Valley, we didn't see the skinfellers come with. And I don't know if the family said, no, this stays here, didn't have room in the trunk, or they got so busy pulling out stumps and plowing the ground that they forgot. Because when you see them, they built their tables, they built their looms, they brought their spinning wheels with, but they didn't bring the skinfells. And so it's sort of like it disappeared. And now it's a resurgent. I'm bringing it back so the Norwegians here can really appreciate this culture that is part of their homeland, part of their Hjemkomst. I actually taught Skinfell class at Moorhead, at Fergus here, and at Morris. And I am struggling to get people to process the sheepskins in America as soft as the beautiful ones in the hall, because they are doing what they call brain tanning. They want the skin side as soft and as smooth to touch as the fleece side. It's very difficult to have it processed here, because to brain tan and get the skin soft, and to also keep the long, like 5-6 inch fleece side not matted, you take the brain from the animal, and you rub that into the skin. But part of the thing that makes them so soft is the amount of time they work it. Now you will take a hide in over, let's say, a fence post, and you will rub the hide side back and forth, rub the brain into it, and the more you work it, the softer it gets. I have taught people how to sew wristlets, baby booties, and baby mittens in my classes. I don't want it to be an insurmountable cost for people to learn this history. So it takes the right cost, the right skins, and all these things coming together to make it workable. Because if you make it only a millionaire can learn it, that's not the type of thing I want to do. I want to teach the heritage. I want to do it right. I have spun up at Rollag for, at least 33 years. And I demonstrate a lot of places, and so it's gotten me from this shy teenager to a person that very openly talks about her culture and her heritage and shares what I know. My daughter passed away in 2002. She was 24. Tammy was my catalyst. The history and her love of history, her love of wanting to know all about the different styles of bunads in Norway influenced me to say, you know, we want to do these things, we don't want to do these things right, we want to know the whole background. And so history comes together. It sort of was a legacy that I lived on with her. And so for her, I take this journey to live and explore and learn.
Prairie Mosaic is funded by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund with money from the vote of the people of Minnesota on November 4th, 2008, the North Dakota Council on the Arts, and by the members of Prairie Public.